Welcome to Mac and Blue, where we introduce you to who is building Arizona, bringing you the people and businesses that shape the landscape around us. From economic development and developers, underwriters and lenders, architects and engineers, to the very builders and suppliers that bring it all together. Now let's join our hosts, Robert Johnson and JJ Levensky, aka Mac and Blue.
Welcome, everyone. Another edition of Mac and Blue. I'm JJ Levinsky, president at Blue Wave General Contracting. I am going solo today. My partner in crime, Robert Johnson, as many of you know, is up in Las Vegas. MGM had free lobotomies today, so he wanted to go take advantage of that. When he watches and listens to this, he'll appreciate the humor. No, he had some work to attend to. So we are very fortunate today to have two guests. We have Annie with an E, Landers, Vice President of Strategic Impact at Junior Achievement of Arizona. And we have Scott Taggart, who's a sales manager at Sims Business Systems. But more importantly, Scott is a protege out of the Junior Achievement Program. So I've known Scott from a business perspective and a personal perspective and what Junior Achievement has done. So we thought it would be a great platform and segue to get Junior Achievement in here for a number of reasons. I'll just try to paint the picture and then I'll turn it over to Annie. Is that what they're doing with the youth and how much our industry and everything around building Arizona is going to require the next generation, and looking at the wonderful things that you're doing, because we have one of our strategic initiatives here on Mac and Blue was to get some educational episodes, and we think that you fall under that really well. So with that, welcome both of you. And Annie, if you could introduce yourself and then dive right in and just tell us a little bit about how you got there and what Junior Achievement means to you and how you see it interweaving with the community. And then we'll just turn it into a wonderful conversation after that.
Oh, thank you so much. I've been with Junior Achievement for about 8 years, born and raised here in Arizona, and I've always had a deep passion for helping contribute to our community, and not just for the today, but for the long term. I think that you'd be hard pressed to find anybody in our state who doesn't believe that education is an important, and if not one of the most critical aspects of our long-term success as an economy, as community members and neighbors, and just the thriving Arizona. So, fast forward my whole career, eventually I was led to working at Junior Achievement after working in the marketing agency side and nonprofit world. I was drawn to work for JA because of the fact that that's exactly what we're doing. For more than 65 years, we have been a nonprofit that is preparing kids in Arizona, kindergarten through 12th grade, to succeed in work and life. We're giving them the skills to be able to thrive in future careers, to even know what those careers might be, and to be able to manage their money once they have that success, and to be able to think differently in the world and meet the needs of our community.
So for the audience, is JA international, national, regional, state? Give a context of how big it is.
Absolutely. So JA is a worldwide organization. We're in almost every country. We are in every state. So there's local areas throughout the entire country. And here we have Junior Achievement of Arizona that oversees the entire state, corner to corner of AZ.
Good. And then, what was my next question? Oh, take the audience through how you see it, like a Scott. Like go back, and Scott, I'm not going to tip away your age. Let's say let's say 15 years ago when he was a young lad. How's that? Like how do you find the Scotts and how do you bring them through your system? Like, let the audience know of what a typical transformation looks like.
Yeah, so we are serving about 90,000 students across. Actually, let me rephrase. I heard today 100,000 students a year through Junior Achievement, kindergarten through 12th grade. And what we're doing is we're meeting those students where they are and however they're learning today. So age appropriate programming for kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. We're helping them understand the community, the economy, their role of business, their roles, the different industries, how they might play a role in their future in Arizona. And as they progress through JA programming, typically through their schools, but not exclusively, they are learning, kind of that their space in that environment. They're learning about all different jobs and industries that make up the success of Arizona, what kind of opportunities they look for, where they can make not just a good living, but they can have a worthwhile job or the kind that keeps them passionate for the long term. And then they learn that belief in themselves. They understand that they have that potential and they can step into it.
Scott, switching over to you. Think back to when you first found out about JA. Like, how old were you, and how did it look through your lens? Let the audience know that.
Well, when I first found out about it, it was probably second grade, I think. And so we had a teacher volunteer come into the classroom, and kind of it was a break for us. And then when I
You just wanted recess,
yeah,
didn't you?
yeah, pretty much, just kind of fun time to mess around. But then fourth and fifth grade is when I got to go to what used to be called Exchange City. Now it's Biztown, I believe. And going through a day in the life of basically a workforce. You
Mhm.
have companies, you have mayors, you have judges, you have everything that you would involve. You get a paycheck, you go spend your money, buy food. You have to, if you break the law, you have to go get a ticket. And you get
Is
going
that
from the
your
judge.
favorite part, Annie?
I believe it was illegal to step on the grass. At the time I went, I stepped on the grass, and so
Okay, you are dating yourself though,
I
because
am,
I
yeah.
know when that grass was there and when it went away.
yeah. So I did break the law in Exchange City at the time.
Way to go, Scott.
Okay, so now again, I'm trying to paint a picture so everyone can understand this, because even even as much as I've been over to your facility,
Yeah.
I still don't know the whole introduction and recruitment
Yeah.
thing, because I'm thinking about parents and kids and people that are listening or watching. They want to know, well, how do I get exposed? If I don't get exposure at the school, how do I get exposed to JA?
So one of the beautiful parts, if you can say that, about the pandemic is that it forced us to do everything differently. Prior to COVID-19, we were exclusively partnered with 400 schools across the state, and that's how students participated, was through their class.
400, you said?
400
Okay.
schools. So since then, what we did is I like to say that we unleashed ourselves. We unshackled our programming so that the average student can get online on our website and get access to any of our free resources. In fact, some of our full programming is in video form on our website. And we also launched brand new initiatives. So when Scott went through our physical JA Biztown, and I will say there is nothing quite as great as getting to experience that. We now have a digital version that schools who maybe can't take a field trip, or student groups who maybe can participate. And we have a whole new program for middle and high school students called JA Inspire. That's exclusively online, and any student in the state can participate, and they can get on and they can connect with hundreds of employers, many who are part of Building Arizona, who are on there and are going to be connecting with their future workforce.
Okay. Scott, let's go back to you and go. So now it's fifth grade, and you finally get to go to the actual. Let's go down the physical path, and we can come back to the virtual. Explain, like, were you there for a whole day? How does it work?
Yeah, so you have some prep time in classroom beforehand. Whatever job you get, you have to apply for jobs. My fifth.
Do you remember
grade
what you applied for?
Well, yeah, I ran for mayor. I didn't get elected, which I think,
if any of you know Scott, that shouldn't surprise any of you.
probably not. But so I ran for mayor, and then I ended up actually being the owner of the sports store. I think the Diamondbacks
fun.
have that now. And so I had to go get a loan from the bank. I had to sell like little pins, flags, stuff like that, to make a profit and pay my employees. And it really taught me a lot about being an entrepreneur, about really what it takes to succeed. And that was just, sports and competitiveness and business kind of go hand in hand.
But it was a whole day event, right?
Whole day event, yep. And I learned a lot. I didn't know what I was learning, but it taught you a lot.
Go ahead, Annie.
Let me color that a little bit. So he's giving us, in the best way, the student experience. What happens before that is that there's about 14 lessons that those students learn in the classroom leading up to that experience, so that they're learning all those fundamentals about the economy, what they're going to do when they take out a bank loan, what's going to be their marketing and sales strategy. They're going to apply for those job roles, and then they create all those plans together. They're then applying all of that thinking when they arrive on site at our JA Biztown. Now, for those who haven't seen it, if you're imagining it in your head, you're probably thinking cardboard pop-ups. You're probably thinking some kind of, kind of cool experience. There is nothing like it. It is full facades that would rival even some, I would say, amusement parks. It is the Diamondbacks has actual Diamondback seats and Diamondback backgrounds so that it looks like they're in the stadium. There's an airplane fuselage. There are all different types of things. So the
You could
students are
take a
getting a
trip to
feel.
France, right? I
Yeah, probably
believe.
for
Yeah.
$1 maybe.
Yeah.
The cheapest.
So Annie, stop for a minute and go. I want to ask about that curriculum piece.
Mhm.
How do you work with the different districts or school systems to get that into their curriculum? That those 14 lessons.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Through a lot of work, right? We have a
Okay.
whole team who partners specifically with all the educators in the state. So yeah, I said 400 schools, it's thousands of teachers. All of our curriculum is state aligned to all the standards, actually federally aligned as well to standards and the things that teachers have to be delivering. So for many, it's actually an engaging and dynamic way for them to meet some of those requirements in the classroom. It's even aligned with things like language learning, English language learners, and aligned with socio-emotional skills and things like that.
So it's not necessarily through this is dating myself, social studies or civics. It could be through any curriculum at any school.
Yeah, it
Okay.
really depends. So we work with the district or the school level to be able to say, where does this most meet your needs? Sometimes it's a math class, maybe not specifically BizTown because they're younger typically. So typically they might just have one classroom setting, but in middle and high school, it really depends on where the school is meeting it. So in some of our cases for a ninth grade, many ninth graders are going through our J Inspire program as an introductory program in high school.
So you said high school. Do you have any programs that go past high school?
Formally, no, but I will say that we are doing some programming with what I would consider adult learners, maybe people who never completed high school, maybe are pursuing equivalent of, a diploma. Even today, we heard from one student who is in longer term foster care, and he's participating in a program where we're equipping these students in foster care to have a thriving future despite what they faced.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of movement on the foster care stuff within the state. I know I was at a meeting not too long ago with EVIT based. We'll eventually have them on as well. I was shocked and really it was very humbling and gratifying, and a little like I got emotional about to see how much work they were putting into those kind of programs here in the state. So I'm glad you addressed that. Can you speak to that anymore or not? Like,
Yeah.
or what's coming in the future for the whole foster related type
Yeah,
education?
specifically. Yeah, absolutely. So what we did is we took a pause during the pandemic and we said, where can we focus our energy to reach the students who need us the most? And I think it would be no surprise to anyone here that foster care students in foster care are some that might need us the most. So we've done some strategic work to partner with different groups similar to schools. We're meeting those groups wherever their students are. So it looks a little bit different in those different contexts. I would say in some ways we're piloting and we're going to replicate some of the program implementation that's been really effective. And in this one particular group, through a group called Foster 360, we're piloting a 1 to 2 year longer term program where we are going to walk through career readiness and financial literacy with them for 2 years to be able to see what kind of difference we can make in their lives, not just now,
Right.
but forever.
Scott,
Because
you were going to
correct
say
me-
something.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Once they turn 18, they're out of the foster system, correct?
They
Or how's that work?
I think that, I'm by no means the
Yeah.
expert in foster care, but I will say that that's kind of the traditional thinking. However, the state does have additional resources to carry youth through, I think, their early adult years. And in this case, it was a 21-year-old gentleman who's benefiting from our foster programming right now.
That's awesome, especially on the financial literacy part. I mean,
Yeah.
Or
That's
even
huge.
in career readiness. Today he said, and I'm not usually emotional, but I choked up when he said, the difference that it has made, not just to my knowledge, is somebody said to me, I believe in you and that you can actually do this in your future. He got choked up in front of the room today,
Yeah.
and it blew my mind. It made me think we did that for one student. What if we did it for everyone?
And Joss from JA shared with me a letter that the student wrote, and it brought me to tears because it's the impact you can have on someone's life with just a little amount of giving is outstanding, and I don't understand why people don't do that more. And it's beautiful that JA is doing that on the forefront of that.
So let's go down. Let's go back to let's call it BizTown or the town or your
Yeah.
facility, which is in Tempe.
Yep, we have 2 of them actually
Okay.
in Tempe at JA BizTown. They're in the same building, but they can house as many as, a little more than 200 kids in a day. Typically, we might have 1 school in each of the towns. Sometimes we're actually comboing schools if they're smaller student base so that they can come have the experience. But they come once typically in a school year.
So let's go down that career readiness path of let the audience know, because you can talk about it. Let's go through, like, mention some companies and the industries they represent, and then kind of the why, like how it all looks in a mix. Like you mentioned the Diamondbacks, and I think you mentioned, I believe isn't it Southwest Airlines, or who's there for
It's
that?
American.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry Southwest, sorry American, I got it wrong.
No.
But
Yeah.
if you can, Annie, just go down that a little bit.
Yeah, we specifically curate the shops, and I'm going to make it sound easy, but our development team works very hard at this to make sure that it's representing the economy these kids are going to not just live in today, but hopefully what the jobs will look like in the future. So we have, you mentioned those few. We also have a couple quick service restaurants like Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A so that they get a feel for that. We have entrepreneurs who are maybe opening franchises like Chompies. We have Freeport for mining because that's a big part of our community. We have healthcare like Honor Health. We have the civic side of things. We have the town hall that's sponsored by Runback Election Systems. We have a whole spectrum. We also have, advertisers and higher ed, like Maricopa Community Colleges has just come in with a new shop. Fun. The kids are going to love this next year. We have a new Meta shop coming in, and they're going to have Oculus throughout the whole thing, and they're going to get a feel for maybe some trade jobs and
All
different.
right, bring the metaverse to reality. Let's
I
go.
know.
You're all about that, huh?
So the kids are seeing what it looks like today, and we have some jobs for the future. We have the gig economy in there, consulting, remote work. We're trying to give them a feel for what that's going to look like.
Okay. Let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back to that. Thanks, Annie.
Torrey Contracting, your full-service Division 9 contractor. Torrey Contracting operates with a smaller, hands-on team. This cohesive structure results in superior workmanship and economical solutions. We deliver projects with unsurpassed commitment to quality and stewardship of budget. Torrey Contracting, small enough to listen, big enough to deliver.
Okay, so that's the physical representation. Scott, do you have anything to add about like how what that experience is like, or the physicality of it, and how it interacts?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a smaller view of what everyday life as an adult is like, and you have to interact. I mean, Phoenix is the biggest small town in the world, and so you hear these companies that are all pretty much local to Arizona. It's great that they're giving back, and Sims actually sponsored the American Subcontractors Association on the Digital Career Fair last year, and so the Subcontractors Association was the face of all trades, and they had so much activity from that they ended up sponsoring a booth for 3 years this next year. So Josh Umar at the Subcontractor Association.
And I was at that event, so I can attest.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great to see the attendance and see everyone once they walk through it. Wow, this is real. And like you said, the facades are not just facades. I mean, it feels like you're walking down a main street, and there's the bank, and there's the medical place, and there's this, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's awesome, and it represents all trades. I know he was part of the Build Your Future Arizona. I think they have a booth there too, and Rosendin is another a company that is local to Arizona, and it's just awesome to see people wanting to, because there's a workforce issue in construction trade, not a population issue, and it really starts in our youth that we need to start saying, okay, hey, look, this is a viable option. And you can make really good money and talk about financial literacy. Key to financial freedom is financial planning. You can not have student debt and go into trades and be an entrepreneur and really build from, I mean, JJ, like your story, everyone's story is just awesome to see. And so it's something that, being from Arizona too, being local, it's important. Right. I mean, biggest small town.
So you brought up, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't take a dig for the building industry. So you talked about Rosendin Electric. Are there any other contractor based people that are involved currently?
So what we've done specifically in BizTown is that we actually have a couple shops that are collaborative efforts between a variety of people in the construction, building, trade work. I can't think off the top of my head. I'm sure we have contractors. It's shame on me. We have many, many that are partnered.
Right.
But in the shops, I mean, the kids, so for instance, in Building Arizona, it's one of my favorite shops because they actually don't have a facade when the day starts out. They actually have to build their facade out of PVC pipes and a variety of other things before they can start selling their goods and services to the community. What a cool opportunity for the kids to get a feel for, hey, I like using my hands all the time
Right.
and I can actually make pretty good money and I probably have less overhead because I'm the one building it versus, the rent. And in the shops that the subcontractor shop and also some of our other shops, they're actually getting to put some stuff together. They're imagining what it's going to be like. There's even tiling and a whole bunch of different components so the kids can see, oh, I can make a ton of money. You said no education debt,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
can get to work with my hands and enjoy everything about my future.
No, I know my peer group is heavily active with you guys and sponsoring and all those kind of things. And I think you hit the nail on the head. We might not have as much of a physical presence in there, but behind the scenes, the capital, the investment, because we're investing in it for the same reasons that everyone else is we want to see that youth enter our workforce and be better community members and all those kind of things. Do you want
I
to
was going
make
to say too, not just through BizTown, and so you're a peer group. We have thousands of volunteers that go into the classrooms every year for us. We have people who are serving as experts and helping us build out that programming and making it more relevant to kids today. So when I mean this with all sincerity, and I'm not exaggerating, that all of our partners who are in the trades industries and construction and building, all of that is absolutely paramount to our success at Junior Achievement.
And getting the kids involved, like you said, like they're doing virtual reality, like virtual design. I mean, I believe that's correct. Yeah. So it's linking to, okay, what do kids focus on? Video games. Well, if you can design a building through in a virtual reality, that gets a kid, 12 or 13-year-old kid excited, and then boom, you have one person you touched.
So Annie, if you would, taking the physical shop out of it, now let's go into the virtual world and what COVID forced you to do.
Mhm.
What is that looking like, and what help do you need out of the community in developing that for the future?
I would say that the place that the kids are the hungriest right now are for understanding where their place could be in trades. So I loved your comment that it's not a population problem, it's a workforce problem. And that starts with the kids, right? That doesn't just start with the high schoolers who are about to finish or the kids who are already in community college or looking at what they're doing. We need to look at the kids at a younger age. We need to meet them when they're in those exploration stages and help them see what's out there in our community. And so I mentioned that JA Inspire program that we've launched. It's an all virtual career exploration program and fair. So similar to JA BizTown, where the students are learning in the classroom or on their own through a guided lesson, they're taking several lessons to hone in on what those interest areas are, what maybe their skills are. That all culminates when they come online to our JA Inspire Career Fair and they get to connect with hundreds of employers and see what real jobs are here in Arizona for them now and it will be in their future, and what are the pathways to get there. That's where I think things break down sometimes, especially in the trades, is they might hear about it, it might feel a little nebulous out there for them. Maybe they have a bias against or, maybe not any opinion at all about the trades, but once they see those pathways and what those opportunities could be, that set them on that way and they're going to be an amazing workforce pipeline in the future.
So on that, do you have any direct collaboration that, let's say they show an interest in that, then let's take, like Scott, let's take ASA out of this, which is the American Subcontractor Association. But what if that child or that group of children come to you, meaning JA, and say, "Oh, I'm really interested." Then do you then collaborate with like the EVITs or the community colleges or even the higher universities? How do you get them set? How do you get them patterned into the next thing?
Yeah, so that is one of the things that we are really, really refining right now. And so the short answer is historically we maybe didn't have that next step for them in terms of where to kind of hand them off to. But as I mentioned, we just joined on a partnership with Maricopa Community Colleges. We're talking with ASU. We have U of A, Arizona Western College. We actually have a variety of our partners in the trades who have apprenticeship programs and things like that. We want to integrate all of that into JA Inspire. So my first thing I would say is for all those people listening, if you have internships, apprenticeships, anything that is kind of a next step work-based experience for kids, let us know so we can make sure
Because
that
you're getting to them so much sooner.
yeah, we're getting to, we estimate 75,000 kids through that program this year.
That's huge.
And so let us tell these 75,000 kids about what opportunities they have with you in the future. And then tell them they can go and they can get an apprenticeship and then, maybe not have education debt and start making significantly higher money out the gate, right? Than what they might do otherwise. So we need hundreds and hundreds more companies on there because we want kids to see what's available in their own backyard. They can navigate through their interest areas and they can learn more about those companies. And then again, those next level work-based experiences, we need to know about them so we can hand deliver those to the kids.
Well, you teed it up. Now ask for the close. With the audience, then who and how should they contact you to get set up in to share their internships and share their mentoring programs with you?
Yeah. I would reach out to Jenny Clausen. She's our director of the JA Inspire program. She's JENNIEC at jaaz.org, or just look us up, jaaz.org, and any of us will be happy to connect you because it is one of our biggest strategic priorities is helping kids see what those pathways look like for the future.
That's fantastic news. I think
Let me
it's
just
cool.
say too,
Yeah.
it's $1,000 for a booth. In terms of a booth in the career
Right.
fair, in terms of an ROI or recruiting budget, that is next to nothing when you look at our impact stats that say 50% of our kids go into a career field that we expose them to. So I only have to put that plug out there and
Right.
say, look at your recruiting budgets and put that booth in there.
I'll continue with the plug. The Subcontractors Association had 2,600 kids visit their booth, and I think 2,200 of those kids visited twice.
Yep.
And so that was pretty cool.
And that was of 10,000 this year. So imagine at 25,000. And we are so grateful for
Scott
that
was
group.
probably baiting them with $5 bills, but that's beside the point.
No, but to your point, though, we do have gamification in there and some
Yeah.
competition so that we're keeping the kids engaged and it's not just a click through things. They have to learn and seek out specific information and then they go on their own breadcrumb trail.
Right. Let me go down another path and then I'll come back to, I want to go down a little bit of Scott's journey. But one other question I had was, let's say I'm a kid here in Arizona that's gone through JA. What do you do to expose them to other kids in JA nationally? Are there national events? Do they get interaction with other stuff? Because I swear that I saw something when we were doing a development with JA with Joss like 2 years ago. There was that national thing that was really cool. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, there's a variety of different opportunities. One thing that JA has done is what's called the Gather Network. So people who are alumni, Scott, I'm looking at you. They sign up and basically self-opt into that Gather Network so they can become connected to other alumni, likely adults across the country or even worldwide. We also have some programs that we do called the JA Young Ambassadors. These are local students that take it a step further. So picture Scott when he's in 5th grade. He doesn't just leave JA at 5th grade. He comes on board with us and we give them richer, more deep, individualized connections into things. And so we are happy to connect any students with anybody nationally. There are some leadership competitions and things like that that happen at the national level. But even here in Arizona, we can connect them to tens of thousands of their peers.
Fun. All right, Scott, you're up. So we talked about 5th grade, Scott, you know, the innocent, naive. I'm not saying you've changed much, but I'll just leave it at that. So think of you as an adult now, and as long as I've known you, I saw your passion for JA early on when we first met as an entrepreneur and businessman locally. How do you relate back to JA daily, weekly, monthly, just as who you are now as a businessman? I mean, where's the connection? Let the audience know like how much it meant to you and why, more the why.
Okay. I mean, well, obviously it meant a lot to me, but the why is really because when you have a goal in life, anything, you need to have, target it out to let's say a 5-year plan, but reverse engineer it down to a day-to-day life, day-to-day process. And that's really what a day in, I call it Exchange City still, but in BizTown does, is like you see the whole picture, but it's all about what you do in the dark, that 14 weeks leading up to it, that really makes you or breaks your business in that day. And when you can translate that into life and you can translate that into every day, what you do matters in the community and different organizations you give back to. You solve a bigger problem that with just, I guess, sorry, but like a ripple in the ocean, right? You drop a little rock and it makes a big ripple effect.
Mm.
That that little difference makes a big change. And that's why I love Arizona so much, is because you look at like the people who give to JAs, the DP Electrics, Rosendin, all
Absolutely.
these, Sims. It's about the community. And
Yep.
it's those little things that will set us up for the future. And that's why we're different than a lot of the other states from an economy standpoint.
Right. I mean, we've heard the feel good story. Now I got to go back to you, Annie. Is like any good business or just not even a business person, do you have the analytics to support how much this is impacting people's lives?
Absolutely. I feel like we wouldn't be doing ourselves a service if we're trying to teach kids about business and money.
Not have analytics. Yeah. What's my ROI, darn it?
So as I mentioned today, we just announced we're going to have reached over 100,000 kids this school year here in Arizona. And we look at things like alumni surveys that are done, and we see that on average, our students are earning more than the general population. They're seeking and achieving higher levels of graduation rates than here in Arizona. They're seeking and achieving higher college degrees. In fact, many go on to get advanced. And some of the staggering statistics talking about entrepreneurship is that these students, over 50%, have either started or own their own business, compared to the general
That's
population.
incredible.
Yes, many have revenues of 4 million or even 100 million. They're employing over 100 people. I mean, talk about that ripple effect. If junior achievement didn't exist, and these students are saying 80% say that junior achievement had a high influence in those career and education decisions. If we didn't exist, think about how many jobs wouldn't exist, how much money wouldn't be in the economy in that same fashion, and quite frankly, how many kids wouldn't believe it was possible for them.
And the kicker, it's free for students, for schools.
Absolutely.
They don't charge schools anything to come there.
It's all underwritten by the donations.
Or like if they have field trip money, they'll ask for that. Like, that's given by the state. But other than that, it's free. I don't know why every school doesn't do it.
What about, we haven't talked about the annual cycle. Is it year round, or do you take off summer while the schools are out as well?
Typically, summer is our slow planning and prep time. And in this new world, we're going to serve at least 3,000 kids this summer. We're already serving them through a robust partnership with Boys and Girls Club. We're serving all of their kids in all of the clubs around the valley, bringing not just one, but several programs to the students this summer, so they're going to walk away with JA education and the great impact of Boys and Girls Club too.
Sorry, when I'm solo today, I wanted to listen, be an attentive listener, and right. Going back to the early part, there were two distinct things, and I know one of them was career readiness as far as your initiatives. What was the second one again?
Financial literacy and entrepreneurship.
Okay, let's go down the financial literacy one. Mm-hmm. What can you speak specific to that of what's the programmatic approach, and then what are the goals coming out of that?
Yeah. So the two, career readiness and financial literacy, go hand in hand, right? You can have the best job in the world. If you don't know how to manage that money, it means nothing, right? Pro athletes go broke all the time. So we teach kids how to manage their money. We teach them about the obstacles. We teach them about budgeting. We teach them about the opportunities to invest. We teach them on the business side of things, how to take out that loan at the start of the day and make sure they have enough revenue to bring it back at the end. Financial literacy is one of the key things for people being able to live out the life they hope for themselves. And so we're teaching them to get those jobs and then to be able to manage their money when they have them and live the life that they hope.
And talking with some peers, people want financial literacy to be a subject taught in class in schools. And I think, Junior Achievement Chicago is actually the middle school, 6th and 7th grade. They're employing teachers to go in there for a whole year and teach financial literacy as a subject.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Well, you've heard that advocacy for a long, long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you guys are the catalyst for that, then that's great. I mean, maybe you are the ripple in the ocean on that, because then the educational systems have the backing of you guys setting the precedent of, then they can go do it.
Yeah. And we have robust financial literacy programs. We actually have those semester-long programs. We're not currently delivering those in Arizona, but that's just because the schools are not yet ready for that kind of structure. All that to say, there are several states who have made it a semester-long requirement. And I do see that we may move that way in the future. The good news is we're ready for it. We can do that for the schools, and we can make a difference.
All right. We're going to take a second word from our sponsor, and then we're going to come right back.
There comes a time when dreams become a reality, when you see your vision materialize into a true work of art. And the only way to get there is to choose a general contractor who shares that same vision and knows how to bring it to life. At Blue Wave, we aren't so big that we've forgotten where we've come from, and we aren't so small that we can't care for your projects regardless of their size. When your vision deserves safety, perfection, timeliness, and expertise in order to become a reality, trust Blue Wave to get it done right the first time.
All right, and we're back with Scott and Annie. And Annie, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but let's spend a little time going down. I think you did a good job, but if there's more asks or specific things that you want to do on the future of Jay, like what are the new initiatives coming out? Do you want to go a little deeper on any of those subjects or not?
Yeah, so we are looking at a variety of different programming that we can either augment or incorporate so that we're reaching all the students that are in the state, corner to corner, and we're bringing our programming to them. So in terms of opportunities to get involved, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of having a wide array of trades and anybody in all aspects of that, even on the business administrative side, not necessarily the hard skills. We need people to come in and partner with us and help kids see what that future looks like. So see it as a viable future. And then we're creating more collaborative partnerships so that we can say, great, Maricopa Community Colleges has programming in this, this, and this, or these companies have these apprenticeships. Here is that funnel. So I'd say come. I know I already made that plug, but come and be part of this mission with us. And also, if you have the means to do so, we're asking for investment. We have millions of dollars in needs every year. And you talked about that cyclical programming, right? Yes, we have lots of support, and every year we have to raise more. We're looking for a budget of about $6 million next year. And where's that going to come from? Hopefully that really rich, deep community of businesses in Arizona who care about the future of Arizona.
And not just businesses. I know they're doing if you're a family or that's been impacted and you want to do a tax credit or a tax write-off, you can do that too, as well as a personal donation, right?
Scott, I feel like you're doing just a good job as I am.
Do you
I love
even-
JA.
Do you even have like endowments that contribute or things like that?
We do. So we have a foundation that is a Junior Achievement Foundation that serves with us, and so, that is in tandem with us. We have lots and lots of needs, and we also have lots of innovation projects that are on the horizon. I think it would be better suited if somebody has kind of their wheels turning and they're hearing this to connect with us, connect with Joss or anybody else on our team to really see where best you fit in that mix, because we want it to be rewarding to the partners and most meaningful for the kids. Scott, you mentioned the tax credit. That is the easiest kind of no-brainer opportunity every year. You get that back dollar for dollar on your Arizona tax return, and you can donate up to $800 per couple, which equates to 24 kids. You can shape the future of 24 kids, just like Scott, just like that student in foster care that spoke to me today. You can shape their futures and get it all back on your 2022 tax return. That's crazy.
Hide that money, everyone.
Well,
I hope the IRS isn't listening.
where the taxes go, that's everyone's big question, is you see the direct impact that your taxes can go to, and it's look around you. I mean, that's a lot of, Josh will tell you a bunch of stories. I mean, if you're intrigued, definitely go take a tour. But Josh will tell you, some people who volunteer will go in and they say their company, like Honor Health, the CFO or CEO,
the CEO,
son or daughter had it in their class. He came back and he pledged 15 years, I think it was.
Okay, but the CEO of Honor Health is a JA alumni, just like you, met his wife through a Junior Achievement, and will tell you that he was positioned to lead a healthcare system through the pandemic because of what he learned.
So JA is a dating site now too.
Apparently. That's one of our new initiatives.
Hey, come to work, meet your future partner.
Hey,
and
didn't I
be
hear
an
about
entrepreneur.
Total turnkey approach there.
I heard about a bromance when I came in earlier, so.
All right, we wouldn't be doing justice if and I'm going to let you guys do the introduction. We keep talking about Joss. This isn't like some inflatable doll that we keep talking about. He actually is a person. So one of you take and let the audience know who Joss is and what his role is and what he represents to JA.
I actually don't really know his official title, but
custodial engineer is fine for him.
He's the senior vice president of major gifts. He's been with JA for over 15 years.
Yeah. So actually, I think it was, not to date myself, but his first year was my 5th grade year at Junior Achievement. But no, he just is very active in the community. He's very good at showing people the value that they'll get, not only from giving, but the value that their kids or someone else's kids that they know will receive from Junior Achievement. And it's like, again, it's free for students in schools. Like it's right there. Like why would
Well, he does like what all of us want to do. You don't sell. You show and show the value, and then you're sucked in.
Yeah.
Right?
well, he's like you. He asked the first question, how can I help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I joke all the time that he's the kind of person that will invite you in and you can't even leave the room without feeling like, oh, I have to be part of that. He has the easy job in terms of being able to sell something he's really passionate about. I know he's gonna hate that I said it's the easy job, but it's something that really matters to him, to all of us on our team, because we see that long-term impact. So he gets to invite everybody in. He's also, I will say, the most humble person I've ever met. And he would never take any of the credit for the great work he does, because all he does is he cares about connecting with the community and helping them find their place within JA and making a difference on the kids. And I think you see that in decades of partnerships, much like the ones that we're talking about here, because of that impact.
Now, in that giving thing, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that. Let's say someone's listening or watching this and they generally want to give, but they have this trepidation or they don't understand what it's all about. Yes, you have a website, but you guys do still allow tours, correct?
Absolutely. We give tours all day, every day. And we're the best kept secret that we don't want to be. We want people to come see it in action. Summertime is going to be slow, right? There's only a couple weeks where students are going to be in the towns when school's out. However, you can come during the school year. You can see students that maybe there's a particular region or area that you're interested in because it's in your backyard. Maybe there's a typical population that you might be interested in serving. Connect with us. We're happy to give you a tour, and we're happy to find that place for you.
All right.
I'll give you a tour too if you want. I don't know if anybody wants that.
I mean,
but...
again, you might do just as good a job as any of us would.
The ambassador of Quan, Scott Taggart. Scott, again, back to you as now, a longtime resident, a local young man, now still a young man, and a successful businessman. What else can you talk about or pitch? Not pitch. I don't like that word, but from the heart, talk about how JA either has changed you or what it's still doing to you in your daily dealings.
Yeah, I mean, really, like being a part of, we're a 43-year-old family-owned company, Sims is. And so, you talk about would the impact of the trade workforce hurt us? People, short answer would say no. But in long term, yeah, it would, because we thrive off small businesses. I mean, that's our market. And if a small business doesn't have the workforce, they can't bid on jobs. It's just the impact to the economy is huge. And so we would lose out on that. And then that it has a negative ripple effect. We would dry up, they would dry up. And it's about supporting a healthy economy in your city, in your town. I mean, look around you, you see construction everywhere.
Right.
People have to turn down bids right now because there's too much. And why is that an issue if it's hyperinflation then recession? But
well, you remember, you already answered the question. It's not a population problem; it's a workforce problem.
I can't say the same thing twice, But no, it really if you don't do something about it, I was told by one of my mentors a long time, is like, if you want to have little sales, solve little problems.
Yep.
If you want to have big sales, solve big problems. And so that is really the key to this, is like, what's a big problem? Well, the workforce issue. So let's try to solve it. And it helps the company, helps Sims. It benefits everyone.
By the way, Inspirational Quotes by Scott will be out on its third edition on Kindle next week. Anything else that you'd like to add? I mean, we still have some time, but I just want to give you kind of the platform of anything else you'd like to share or add or ask of the audience.
Yeah, what I think that you sparked in my mind is something that we say all the time, Scott, that the future of our shared success depends on how we show up today with kids today. So the workforce, that is a massive problem, and that's something that we know is not going to go away. And it's not going to be solved by the immediate, let's try to bring in the currently employable population right now. It's not solving that pipeline problem. But at Junior Achievement, we already have solutions for that for the long term. And so we are just looking to replicate that and make sure that we're not just reaching 100,000 kids. We're very proud of that. Not many nonprofits can say they're doing that, but that means there's still over 1 million kids in Arizona who are not yet getting junior achievement programs. We want to make sure those students can get that access to those same programs, that same learning, and that same vision for their own future. And like I said before, we could not do it without the subcontractors, without the general contractors, without all of the companies doing the labor work for us. We need those partners to come in and make a difference for our kids. And we will equip our volunteers. So listen, everybody listen, we need you as volunteers too. Not just your investment. We need your volunteer time. We will train you, we will give you the curriculum, but you will be the magic to help them hear what difference it's going to make in their future, to help them see what success looks like, to help them say, oh, he did that and he ran for mayor and he didn't get it, and look what success he's doing today. Right, Scott?
In fairness, when I went back for the first time, some odd years later, Joss did make me mayor, and I have a picture in my office of me sitting at the mayor's desk. So I did get to live my dream.
It's sad that the background check came up negative in 5th grade, though. Hold it. Annie, you hit on a really big thing, and I was thinking of if I'm a listener, what is an example of volunteerism? Because we haven't defined that.
That is a great question. We have a couple of different volunteer needs. When we get specific to the JA BizTown program that we keep referencing, we need volunteers every day during the school year to come in and kind of serve as a home base for the kids. We're helping keep them on track. We're helping them answer hard questions, but also helping them see some of those ahas in the day. Not solving their business problem, right? Oh, we're falling short on our revenue. We're not going to make this bill. What should I do? But really just helping them problem solve and critical think. And then we also have all of our program that happens exclusively in the classroom every year. That's about 65,000 kids. Those are volunteers that go in and teach 5 to 7 lessons, either once a week over several weeks or through a full day at a school. It's exhausting, but the best day you'll ever spend teaching those lessons and imparting your personal experience. We just estimated today that it's going to take us probably close to 8,000 volunteers to deliver our programs during the next school year. And that
8,000?
Yep. And that is not a light lift, right? That's 8,000 people giving their time and their expertise and their knowledge to help make the lives of a classroom or multiple classrooms better in the future.
And I talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people like to talk about the problems that are going on. So to that, just don't talk about it, be about it, be a volunteer.
Get off of social media and come help.
Exactly.
If you have the time to opine on a platform, you can come help.
Exactly.
Hey, one thing I was just thinking about a lot of people that I know in the background of developmentally disabled and things like that. Are you able to bridge that through any JA programs, or is that just sometimes too challenging?
No, we are. So I don't want to, over promise that we can meet the needs of every student.
Right.
Although I can say that very, very often we have students say, for instance, are designated in the special ed category at a school. They come with the rest of the students and they participate in JA BizTown. And we get letters every year from teachers who say this student who is nonverbal had the best experience going around being the male person or serving in a restaurant role or serving in some kind of dynamic role where they're engaging with their student peers. We hear all the time students who maybe have some kind of challenge that maybe that we can't all connect to, but they see that potential in themselves and they're encouraged and inspired and confident.
Is there a wait list for companies to be in the BizTown? For the actual business, like how does your process of vetting a bank or a company to come in and be a participant?
So shame on me, I don't know offhand. Joss would be the best person to know. What I would say is we do curate it, right? So it's not like we're just going to have 20 restaurants come in or even 20 subcontractors, right? So I will say that we have a couple openings and a couple of spaces that are available right now. We have some people looking at it, and if there's anybody listening that's interested, don't let that sway you, because we want to make sure that the kids are getting experience from the right kinds of companies in their community.
Scott, sales manager Scott, put the hat on. Any last words for recruitment? Or advocacy, I should say.
Yeah, talk about an organization that wants to promote generational wealth and transformational leadership. That's junior achievement. And so you look at that's why Alliance Bank signed up. That's why the Subcontractors Association signed up. That's why people are doing that, because they want to make an impact, and it's really easy to do it. So just do it.
Awesome. With that, I'm going to wrap it up. Scott Taggart, Annie Landers, thank you so much for coming and representing junior achievement. And when you see Scott's name on the next mayoral candidacy, choose wisely, everyone. Thank you. I'm JJ Levinsky,
Good run,
wrapping it
Junior
up.
Achievement,
Yeah,
very well.
wrapping it up for Mac and Blue this episode. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Mac and Blue Show, brought to you by Torrey Contracting and Blue Wave General Contracting. Be sure to subscribe to the Mac and Blue podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Follow Robert Johnson and JJ Levinsky on LinkedIn and Instagram. Tune in live every first and third Thursday at 3 p.m. as we continue to introduce you to the people building Arizona. Walt Disney said, "You can dream, create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it requires people to make the dream a reality." Until next time, make it a great day.